Welcome to the Click podcast. I'm Dani Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of The Click, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Hello ladies, and welcome to a brand new episode. Now, on the date that this podcast is released, it is November the 12th, and some of you may hate me for saying this, but it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, or at least it is in my house. I don't know about you guys, but I just love this time of the year. And because we live in the south of Spain, where it's very sunny, I have to do my very best to make it feel very extra festive. And that means in our house, our decorations go up super duper early. So I already started decorating. We've not put up our big tree yet, or any of our trees, but I started pulling everything out yesterday, and I am just here for all of it. But for this episode though, I want to dive into the signs that tell you that your manifestations are imminent. They are on their way. They're just around the corner waiting for you. Now, let's just start, though, with the opposite of this, when we kind of feel like we're in a bit of a downward spiral and we feel like we kind of just know that things just aren't working in our favor. And I think it's very obvious for us when this is occurring. Or at least I know for me it is. I know when my energy is off. I know when I'm feeling misaligned, when I feel like actually the things that I want aren't going to come right now because of where my energy is at. So maybe it's that constant sort of doubting of myself, doubting that my manifestations are going to come to fruition. Maybe it's just constantly feeling exhausted and drained. This is a typical one for me. If I'm feeling physically, emotionally, mentally drained all of the time, it's a real struggle to wake up and feel energetic and optimistic and hopeful and excited. Just that kind of low level drainness. Not a word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Just emotionally depleted. And maybe this is also tied in with overthinking, worrying too much. I know when I am too much in my head, my manifestations are not about to drop into my lap. Because I know that for me, my big goals, my big things have always manifested when I'm more in my body than I am in my head. So when we're kind of worrying about things, we're often trying to force things to happen. We're often thinking about what we want from that place of lack. So it may be stuck in those sort of negative thought patterns as well, like, this will never work for me, and things just aren't going the way that I want them to. That overthinking, that self-criticism, maybe attracting the same negative situations over and over again, and feeling really just generally disconnected from your intuition. So I know when I am not in a kind of the swing of the manifestation process and I'm, on a roll with getting what I want all the time, typically I will be disconnected from my higher self. It's like I cannot hear my own inner voice. So maybe it's because I've spent too much time consuming content. So maybe too much time on social media or watching TV shows or listening to things that really shut me off from my own inner voice. It can also happen when I've been spending too much time with people who disconnect me from my inner voice. So people with very different opinions to me or very different values in life, or perhaps negative about the things that I truly love in life, or will perhaps question the things that I'm doing. So when I'm surrounded with that type of person, I find it cuts me off from my intuition. Also experiencing avoidance or procrastination. So I am distracting myself with lots of different things that are taking me away from my purpose, my passions. Maybe my procrastination is coming from that place of perfectionism where I'm overthinking things again. And again, these behaviors, I know whenever I'm stuck in these patterns of behaviors, I know that it is keeping me disconnected from my desires. Another one is actually being over-focused on the outcome. So I'm looking at what I want from a place of lack, from a place of I don't have it yet. So it's almost like I'm hoping for it, I'm wishing for it. But in that energy, I'm recognizing that this isn't in my life right now. So whenever I'm experiencing any of these things, I know that chances are the things that I'm calling in are not imminent. They're not going to happen right now because I'm not in the right energy. I'm not thinking about the right things or thinking too much. And I just know that I am out of alignment, disconnected from my higher self and not in the right place that I need to be to call in the things that I want. But what are some of the signs though? Let's say you've been doing all of the things. You've been doing all of the steps required to manifest the things that you want. And now you're playing the waiting game. Now you are waiting patiently, trusting that everything that you want is on its way. I've definitely noticed patterns. Whenever I've manifested something big, there's always been a pattern of events in the lead up to that manifestation. And now I can recognize these patterns and I can see them as a sign that, okay, my desire is pretty imminent. So the first sign then is that synchronicities start to happen more often. So synchronicities are often the way that the universe speaks to us. So those are these magical moments when it feels like all of the events are lining up perfectly. Or maybe it's unexpected things happen that help your desire come to fruition quicker. So maybe it's people that come into your life, new opportunities, or you find yourself in a particular place that supports you in having your desires. So it's starting to notice more of those coincidences. Maybe it's just bumping into somebody that could really support you and you happen to just be there at the right time. Maybe you get some unexpected advice. Maybe something pops up on your newsfeed on social media. Maybe it's encountering repeating numbers. So maybe it's sort of angel numbers, seeing 111, 222, or different signs that the universe is aligning to bring your desires into life. And often these synchronicities, they could be very subtle at first. So maybe it's you're sorting through your things and you find a book that really speaks to you that you completely forgot that you had. Or again, maybe you just run into somebody coincidentally and they give you some information that will really help you. And these subtle signs, as you get closer to manifesting something big, these signs become more frequent and they're signs that you just cannot mistake. They're unmistakable signs. So a really good example of this, kind of a very simple example of this, was when I was manifesting a specific car. Now, I had decided I want this car, and I'm somebody, when I decide upon something, I'm very impatient with things. I want things now, and I think most of us are like this. And I was really excited to get this car, and we called up the car company that sells the cars, and we were told, you're looking at about a year wait. For the specific model that we wanted, with all of the specific features, it was going to be about a year. I was like, okay, not what I wanted to hear. But I just trusted the process and trusted, okay, I'm going to get this car. I just need to trust in divine timing. And I started to see the car, and it wasn't necessarily a super duper common car, but I started to see it more frequently. And then there was one week where I felt like every place I went to, I was seeing this exact car. And I saw it a few times, and even in the exact kind of spec and color that I wanted it. And I kind of knew, I was like, the car is coming. Anyway, lo and behold, we got a phone call a couple of weeks later saying that they'd had a cancellation of an order and the car that we wanted was actually available to us. And I kind of knew at this point, I was like, look, I'd had all of these signs. I kind of knew and trusted that it was on its way because the universe was sending me all of these synchronicities. And the closer I got to manifesting my desire, the more frequent those synchronicities became. Now, my next point, and this actually ties in with the same story. So we were waiting for this new car to arrive. And the car that we did have at the time, over the space of a week, everything that could possibly go wrong with a car went wrong with it. The electrics went on it. We got 2 flat tires within the space of a few days. There was something else that went wrong with it. And it was like, okay, Is the universe playing a really big practical joke on us here? But here's the thing. When you experience unusual challenges or obstacles, although it might seem counterintuitive, these often happen just before a big manifestation is about to occur. It's a sign that something important is about to shift in your life. And these challenges, they're going to test your resolve, your patience, your determination. It may feel like things are actually becoming more difficult than usual. But from what I've experienced, these obstacles are often a sign that you are on the verge of a breakthrough. So it may show up for you as unexpected setbacks. Maybe it's emotional upheavals. So something really emotional or distressing happens in your life. Maybe it's some sort of external resistance. Now, I used to almost think of these as tests from the universe. The universe is testing me to kind of see how strong I can stay in the face of these challenges and setbacks. And it was almost kind of feeling like the universe was doing it out of spite. It's like, why do these things need to happen to me? They're just annoying, they're just frustrating. But I think we all know by now that our biggest opportunities for growth are happening not in the moments that we're winning, but the moments that we are the most frustrated, the most challenged, having these setbacks. These are our biggest opportunities for growth. It helps us build resilience. It helps us build confidence in ourselves. It helps us strengthen the trust in the universe. And I think for me, this is the lesson here, that strengthening the trust in the universe, because I think that is the thing that most of us struggle with the most. Because we're so used to wanting to control the outcome. We want that physical evidence of what we want appearing. We want to micromanage the co-creation process by working hard, often as a way to prove our worthiness. This ability to just surrender, trust that what we want is on its way is, I think, the hardest part of the law of attraction. So in those moments when things are not going as planned, the typical response here would be to not trust, to kind of look at that as evidence that things aren't working out for you. But trusting means unconditionally trusting. Trusting in the universe means I trust the universe regardless of what's going on for me. To truly trust means to say, look, I could be presented with all of these negative things, yet I still have faith in the higher power. It's easy to trust the universe is working for us when things are going our way, but can you trust the universe when things aren't? Because that is the real surrender. That is really to surrender. If you're fully surrendering, you're fully trusting, no matter what your external circumstances are showing you. And the universe is always looking for opportunities to help us strengthen that trust. And what better way than to give us challenges or setbacks just before a major breakthrough? Because if we can hold strong, if we can kind of stay composed and stay in that energy of trust whilst we're going through those setbacks, and then we get the reward after of our big manifestation coming through for us, what we're going to be saying to ourselves is, thank goodness I kept the faith. Thank goodness I trusted things. I didn't get frustrated. I didn't get angry. I had firm faith that what I wanted was on its way. And what I will say is that your desires are going to feel so much sweeter when they've come off the back of some unexpected challenge or setback. Now, this isn't to say that we have to struggle or experience distress in order to receive great things. Often we can receive great things without that setback or challenge coming first. But I know from experience, when I do have that sort of string of challenges, it's normally like I'm about to go through some major breakthrough. Now, the other sign that your manifestations are on the way is that your intuition is becoming stronger. It feels really powerful. So when you're about to manifest something significant, your intuition, it becomes sharper. So it's having those gut feelings, they're stronger gut feelings or hunches or inner nudges that guide your decisions. And these feelings are the universe or your higher self signaling to you that you're on the right path. So your intuition, it's not just guiding you towards what you want, but it's also going to help you navigate those obstacles and avoid any distractions. And for me, it's felt like that real deep knowing or sense of certainty about my next steps. My intuition is guiding me. And also tied in with this is that just feeling of authenticity. You feel aligned. You feel like you're being you. You feel like you're on your authentic path. So you're not just doing all of the things possible to try and force your manifestations into existence. You're doing things from a place of joy, of ease, of flow, of fun, of excitement. You're doing things because you feel called to do them rather than from that place of necessity or panic. And this isn't to say that we can't manifest things from that place, because I've definitely manifested things from a place of working hard previously. I've manifested things, and I know that a large part has been the product of hustling or forcing for things or pushing for things. But I know that those manifestations have often not been sustainable, and the joy that I felt from those manifestations has often been short-lived because I was so attached to the outcome and not necessarily focused on the joy of co-creating. Often those manifestations as well, I've received them, but then they've maybe quickly disappeared from my life. So let's say, for example, it's an income goal and I've worked relentlessly hard to get to that specific income goal, and I make that income goal and I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted, but I got there, told you I would through hard work. But then some unexpected financial setback occurs and the money that I've just manifested very quickly is needed to pay for certain things that were just completely unexpected. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had that experience when my manifestation has been through the product of hard work. Now, on that subject, that feeling pulled to take action, that desire to do something, to kind of that almost that kind of energy that you have, that you're like, yes, I'm going to seize the day today. I feel so excited and energized and I want to do something. That kind of like feeling of I'm wanting to do something. But it's not coming from a place of panic or desperation. It's just coming from that sheer excitement, that sheer connection with your purpose, excited about your future, kind of that energy of hopefulness. I found whenever I'm about to step into a period of exponential growth, I have that strong desire and I'm very easily to get into a flow state with the things that I'm doing. So whether that's in my work or in my personal life, I'm taking lots of inspired action. Just action that feels really good and I'm feeling very energized. Now, something else I've noticed when I've manifested something big, in the kind of moments leading up to that, I will start to notice that my environment will start to change. So it's almost like it's responding to my inner transformation. So it may be that I start to notice positive improvements in my relationships. It could be that I start to suddenly find myself supported by new people who really align with me, align with my goals, maybe even people that could help me with new opportunities. I find that I often will even notice a shift in my physical space. So in my home feels lighter. My home is a pretty zen place anyway. I try to kind of create sort of a very warm, inviting, peaceful, calm environment. But I have 3 kids, so let's face it. It is a pretty chaotic household when they are in it. But I found that when things are about to manifest in a big way, the things that would usually irritate me in my physical space actually don't anymore. So I'm somebody that's very, how should we put this? I'm very affected by mess, by chaos. And it's a non-negotiable for me that my home has to be very, very clean, very, very tidy, and very, very organized. Even things like, I call it tidying up, right? So maybe you've heard of this term, tidying up. I don't know if it's a term I invented, but I used to use it a lot because I was a really good tidier-upper. Because I would basically, if there was kind of chaos and things around, I would basically just shove things in cupboards. And actually over the years, it's got to a point where even that, knowing that if I could open up a cupboard and things could fall out and it's just a bit chaos, even that kind of makes me twitch a little bit. So anyway, I digress. What I'm basically saying is the moments that big manifestations are on their way, I tend to find I'm a lot less affected by my physical space. So even if it is a little bit messy, the kids have just thrown their crap everywhere, as they do, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm like, okay. My daughter's just, smashed a banana on the floor and I'm not losing my mind. So yeah, for me, a pretty good sign that I'm in alignment, I'm going with the flow, and things are about to manifest in a big way for me. And then I think really tied in with that is just that sense of peace and patience. So things that would often kind of stress me out or kind of make me feel anxious, I'm kind of not as affected by them. So as well as being quite affected by lots of mess and chaos, I'm also very sensitive to lots of different noises. So again, with kids, like that is an inevitable thing. And kind of my trigger is being in the car, driving somewhere where we've got all 3 kids in the back and they're all screaming and throwing things and fighting and, well, yeah, you know how it is. And normally, like, that makes me feel really, really tense. I've actually ordered recently, off topic a little bit, I've actually ordered something called, somebody recommended them to me, Loom earbuds, Loop earbuds. And they basically help you still hear very clearly, but they kind of like dampen the sound a little bit. So somebody recommended them to me for highly stressed parents who are in the car with toddlers. So I'm going to give those a go. But as I said, I am not so affected by lots of noise and lots of chaos when my manifestations are on the way. It's almost like I am washed over with this sense of peace and patience. And it's just kind of like, okay, I can take this because actually I'm so excited about what I know is about to unfold. It's almost like, let's say you're going on a really incredible holiday tomorrow, like the trip of your lifetime. Everything's booked. You know absolutely that it's going to happen. And let's say it's the day before and you've just had a really shit day. Everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. But you're like, I do not care because tomorrow I am going on the trip of a lifetime. It's almost like that, just surrendering, that peace, patience with everything. You let go so much easier because you absolutely know tomorrow is going to be one of the best days of your life. Now, another pattern I've also recognized when it comes to manifesting something big is just this sudden urge to organize or declutter my life. It's like I all of a sudden just want to start clearing out my wardrobe or reorganizing my drawers or it might be sort of organizing something within my business, like getting all my files and things like organized. Like it's just that need to kind of start something afresh. So whether it is your home, your work, your digital space, decluttering is a powerful sign, I believe, that your energy is shifting and you are preparing to receive something new. So by clearing out that physical space, you are metaphorically creating room for new opportunities, new people, new experiences to enter your life. So that feeling of needing to purge and reorganize, it, for me, often comes right before a big manifestation. So it's signaling that I'm energetically clearing the way for my desires to materialize. And then I think the final sign that I've noticed is that feeling even more connected to nature or the elements. Now, I know that for me, nature is one of the things that can help me step into my highest vibration. So my most magical spiritual experiences have happened when I am in nature, whether that's on a walk or in the sea or by the beach. So feeling more deeply connected to nature or feeling just called to be in nature more and be around the elements or even perhaps even specific animals. It's like the natural world is communicating with you. Now, these experiences are a reflection of your energy harmonizing with the flow of the universe, and they're often signs that you're in a receptive state for manifestation. So nature has a beautiful way of grounding us, aligning us, and these unusual feelings of, wanting to be more connected to nature are a reminder that the universe is supporting you and guiding you towards your desires. So those are my sort of most common signs that a big manifestation is on its way. But do you have any other signs that you've recognized, patterns in your own life from when you've manifested something and the things that have happened in the lead up to that manifestation? Please come and let me know. So you can say hello to me on Instagram, Dani_Watson_coaching. But yes, I hope you found this episode useful and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Bye, ladies.
If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclick.com and click free course in the menu. soon.